Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm John Facella. I'm the new president of the Radio Club of America. I'm going to call this a fireside chat, and it's going to be the first of several like these that I'll give during my term in office. This one particularly will give us a chance to get to know one another. So first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then why I enjoy the Radio Club of America. Next, a little bit about my vision for the Radio Club in the next 2 years. And finally, a bit more about RCA based on some questions that I've been asked. So first of all, for those of you that don't know me, I've been interested in wireless since I won a science fair project in the 3rd grade. Later on in high school, I built some ham radio equipment. I then went on to Georgia Tech to earn an electrical engineering degree. And later I earned a degree from another institution, an MBA. I've spent 2 years in the U.S. Army Signal Corps, and then I went on to work for Motorola, then for Harris Corporation, and then ultimately for a national consulting company. And all of that occurred over a period of over 30 years. So I've got over 30 years in wireless. I've held positions in engineering management, product management, project and product management, sales and marketing. And I've also lived overseas and traveled extensively. And then on top of all that, I was a high-tech CEO for about 10 years of some startup companies. And in my spare time, when I didn't have anything else to do, I was a part-time firefighter and EMT. So I've been an RCA member for over 30 years. And some people ask me, why have you stayed an RCA member for so long? So I'm going to tell you, the biggest benefit that I get from RCA is the networking. And it's networking with what I call the experts and legends in wireless. Because at our technical symposium and at our breakfasts and at our banquets, I've met people like Dr. Eli Bruckner, the father of radar, Dr. Thomas Marzetta, who's the massive MIMO expert, Dr. Ted Rappaport. Dr. Rappaport was an early RCA scholarship awardee, but he went on to do all of the fundamental research on millimeter wave propagation, which is the basis for 5G. We've got Dr. Chip Cohen, who's the father of fractal antennas, and Andy Seabold, who's the wireless industry pundit. While I love the technology, career success is actually all about people. And RCA is about people, these kinds of people. The people you meet at RCA are from all areas of wireless. RCA is unique in this respect that we cover all of the vertical industries, antennas, broadcast, cellular, broadband, military, manufacturing, satellites, public safety communications, and so forth. So as a result, if you go to one of our meetings or attend one of our breakfasts, you get to rub elbows with people that may not be from your normal industry vertical in wireless. And that's a good thing because you're broadening your vistas and learning about other things that might be applicable to your area. For example, in my own case, I worked for a while with one RCA member who was involved with satellites, and we were working on a way to bring that to reliable communications for first responders. And in another instance, I had a problem with towers, and I had to get an estimate of what it would cost to do a structural analysis on an existing tower. And through several RCA members, I learned exactly how to do that. So where else but at RCA you're going to find this broad vista of people in so many different areas. The second major benefit of RCA for me has been the constant learning that takes place at our technical symposium and through our proceedings publications. Over the years, we have brought many outstanding presentations on everything from modern AM modulation techniques, autonomous vehicles, the Explorer 1 satellites, to invisibility cloaks. I've learned a lot outside my normal space in wireless, and along the way, I also earned continuing education credits, which were very useful for my professional engineering license. The third major benefit to me, and perhaps really important for the future, is the youth that I've been able to meet and work with, because youth are truly the future of wireless. We are improving our scholarship program to improve the benefits to our youth. Our youth program has been going on for over 30 years under the stewardship of Director Carol Perry. She uses amateur radio as a means to get children excited in middle school and high school about STEM subjects and wireless. A number of those youth have gone on to earn engineering degrees or degrees in allied subjects like broadcasting, and I've been able to meet them at our events over the years. Plus, if they're chosen by Carol, they get a chance to present at our technical symposium right next to PhDs. How cool is that for a 16-year-old to be able to present at a technical symposium with all kinds of wireless experts? So my vision for RCA this year is to increase our services to our members. In the last several years, we've done a pretty good job of that, but we're increasing that. So for example, under prior presidents, Carol Hollingsworth and Tim Duffy, we were able to create a virtual networking series and also an interview series. And we did this because of the pandemic. The pandemic, of course, has limited our ability to have physical meetings. So we hold these events every month, but they alternate. One month is an interview and the next month is a networking. They're always held on the second Tuesday of the month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The networking events are for RCA members only, but the interview series are for anybody in the public. The second major thing that we're doing is we're rolling out a brand new website in March. It's going to provide easier access to the latest event information, forms, and so forth. We're going to keep our member spotlight. And the member spotlight is another member benefit whereby members, both old and new, can get highlighted for a period of a couple of weeks and provide them with virtual networking to the rest of our membership. The current person that's on the website right now is Jeff Hagabon. And Jeff combines current interest in wireless, in broadcast, high power RF, and also in propagation, with an interest in wireless history. We've stood up 5 new committees on improving our services to our members, especially those that are just starting out in wireless, those that are in their careers, in the middle of their careers, and women. Another thing that we're doing is we're taking a large group of members that we have in the Colorado area, and we're structuring a section for them called the Rocky Mountain section. We're involving more non-board members in what we do. So we've got 3 or 4 or 5 non-board RCA members that are getting involved in our projects, helping us to further our work with youth, new meeting locations, and things of that nature. Speaking of women in wireless, it is a little known fact that RCA was actually started by a woman, Miss Lillian Todd. Lillian Todd was a woman way ahead of her time. She was a female aviator in 1907, and she not only built her own airplane, but she designed it. That's pretty cool. But she also shepherded a group of junior high school boys who were interested in wireless, and they formed what's called the Junior Wireless Club at the time. The Junior Wireless Club became the Radio Club of America. And so here we are 100 years plus years later. What has happened? Well, since then, we've had 3 women as presidents. We've had 11 women who have been officers or directors in the club. We've had another 14 women who have been committee members or committee chairs. We have a website that's devoted exclusively to women and girls, providing a lot of information for them to help them in their careers. And we've stood up the Vivian Carr Award, which is an award made for women who have contributed to the art and science of wireless. We've awarded the Vivian Carr Award every year since it started. So what is the Radio Club of America? Well, we are the world's oldest society of wireless professionals. So let's take that apart. We play in the world. We're primarily a North American organization, but we do have members all over the world. We're the oldest, formed in 1909. We're a society, which means a group of us choose to come together and associate with one another for our mutual benefit. We're about wireless. That's all we do is wireless. And we're professionals, which means that our day job is in wireless. Now, some people get confused and think we're a ham radio club. We are not an amateur radio club. There are other organizations that do that job very well. However, about 50% of our members are radio hams. That's how they got their start. But we're not a ham club. Another confusion factor is people confuse us with the Radio Corporation of America. The Radio Corporation of America was a manufacturing company that made radios and TVs. We are the Radio Club of America. Our mission as a nonprofit is that we are dedicated to the art and science of wireless for the betterment of society. Now, for our younger members, that's got to be pretty interesting, for the betterment of society. That's an important goal. Just imagine where we would be right now without wireless and this pandemic. All these school children that need to go to school would have a very difficult time doing that. But thanks to wireless, the wireless routers in their homes that bring the signals to their tablets or their laptop computers, and thanks to the Bluetooth headsets that are also wireless, that keep the noise level down for mom and dad and their siblings, these kids are able to attend school in spite of the pandemic. So our future is, our focus is on three major areas: the future, the present, and the past. So let's talk about that. The future is clearly with the youth, and I've already described some of the programs we're doing with Carol Perry and with the scholarship program. In the present, we're trying to help our members improve their wireless careers through networking, through education, and other means. And then there's a historical part. So this year, we are going to be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the transatlantic tests. Now, without going into a lot of detail, you may ask yourself, what is important about the transatlantic tests? Well, the transatlantic tests proved that with modest equipment, people could span the Atlantic with wireless. And as a result of those transatlantic tests back in 1921, a whole bunch of experimentation just exploded. Inventors and scientists and engineers worked on wireless for the next 100 years, and the result is what we have today, the smartphone that brings us all the functionality that we never had before. So if you're interested in the centennial celebrations we're going to be having, watch our RCA website. We're going to have more information about that. And now I've received a few questions lately, and I'm going to cover those right now. The first thing is people say, so what's new at RCA? Well, I've covered a lot of it. And of course, the most exciting thing for us is actually the transatlantic test thing that we're going to have in December of this year. I also get asked, how do I get into wireless? Well, there's lots of jobs in wireless. There's jobs for engineers, for technicians, for installers, but there's also non-technical jobs for marketing and salespeople, for legal people, patent attorneys, jobs in manufacturing, and so forth. So my career advice to people who want to get into wireless is learn all you can, network with people in the industry, and work hard. And RCA can help you with the first two. We can help you with the networking, and we can help you with the educational piece. What about future meetings? Well, that's an interesting question given the pandemic. So right now, we're planning in November of this year to be somewhere out west for our annual meeting and technical symposium. And hopefully we won't have COVID restrictions, but if we do, we'll be virtual. Regardless, if we do have a physical meeting and COVID allows us to do that, We will still have a virtual component because we recognize that a lot of people can't travel or don't wish to travel. So we're going to preserve that virtual component. We've learned that. We've also got a few other meetings this year. We're planning to go to APCO and IWCE. And if those events are physical, we'll be there. And if they're virtual only, we'll be there as well. We're also challenging ourselves to see if we can attend one or two other regional meetings with some of our partners, our organizational partners, like the Electronic Technicians Association, the IEEE, Warriors for Wireless, and some of these other organizations that we partner with. So we're going to see if we can do that. For next year in 2022, we're going to be down south. And again, we're hoping that that meeting will be physical, but it's all about what restrictions we're going to be placed on us. We will have a virtual component regardless. So that's what's going on with our meetings. I want to thank you very much for joining me in this first fireside chat, the first of several. Look around at our website, radioclubofamerica.org, and see what RCA might offer to you. Thank you.